All right, guys, this is Norval Central coming back at you on the YouTube video, and I really do appreciate all the love and support you've showed so far on my YouTube channel. Please be sure to follow my Instagram account and my Twitter account that's linked at the bottom of the video today. I really do appreciate it as always, and let's go ahead and get straight into this video. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about offensive line recruiting. We all know about five-star offensive tackle Jonathan Daniels. He's been a target that Florida State's been on for quite some time. Out of Pine Forest High School in Pensacola, Florida, it's been a guy that Atkins has really been on for quite some time. I talked about in my previous video how this offensive line class for the 24 cycle is kind of small. It's kind of underwhelming a little bit more. And Florida State's not really going to take a ton of guys in this class because they don't have a ton that is leaving after this season. A lot of their main contributors they have on the roster is juniors and sophomores and freshmen. Couple of guys, you have Demetri Emmanuel that's going to be an interior offensive lineman. Casey Roddick, Wes Harris is going to be a tackle prospect, and stuff like that. They're going to miss after this upcoming season. But when you look at the grand scheme of things, I think you still have your basically your main foundation in key right now. And really, when you're looking at it, if you're able to get Jonathan Daniels on the July 15th deadline when he was talking about maybe a potential announcement, that could be huge for Florida State. But you also have another prospect that I'm kind of excited about, and I think they're going to be kind of main contenders in with this recruitment, and that's for three-star offensive tackle Tye Hylton out of Oviedo, Florida. And I think this is a situation where Florida State can get involved pretty quickly. He was able to kind of visit during the June 23rd big recruiting weekend. I think a lot of prospects were coming on campus, and he really felt the love that was coming from Florida State staff. Problem is, he officially visited Penn State on June the 2nd to June the 4th. Then he turned around and had a Miami trip on June the 9th through the 11th. And then he had that Florida trip June the 16th to June the 18th. And then, of course, he had the Florida State visit last. That is always a very, very good situation in most cases because when you're having that last visit, you can make that last impression. They made it before the dead period started for recruiting. Now he's able to kind of make his decision as we go through. And during exit meetings that he had during the official visit, he talked about how he was going to decide between late July, maybe early August. And that seems to be a timeline for most of the Florida State targets that we've had so far in this recruiting cycle. You got guys like the July 15 deadlines that I talked about before. You even got Jalewis Solomon, who's going to be a four-star cornerback that's going to be deciding on August the 5th. That's still a huge deadline for Florida State. And as I alluded to before, I think Florida State's going to have about 90% of their class filled up by the time this summer is basically over and into the fall. So I think it's very important for Florida State to go ahead and get those two talented offensive linemen in the class because, as I alluded to before, the offensive line class is not great. You're trying to figure out different ways to be efficient. And of course, if you are able to get those two guys in, maybe you get one or two transfers of experience coming in and kind of helping that younger offensive line group, as we've alluded to before with the class of 22, kind of getting those guys gelled together as well as Lucas Simmons and Andre Otto as well in the 23 class that you can kind of grow and mold into something special. I think you have something there. But really, when you're looking at it, the in-state guys like Miami and Florida, I think are going to be pushing hard for Hylton. A little bit of Penn State, but I think he mainly wants to stay in state. Overall, he did play at the right tackle position. That is something, especially being at a high school that's the highest classification in Florida. I think is very important there too. The skill set and what he's seen on a day-to-day basis is very important because when you look at it, I mean, you want talented guys in your program, and I think Hylton does kind of check a box in what you need in a program builder on the offensive line. Think about Robert Scott, for example. He was a highly regarded three-star prospect that not a lot of fans kind of thought about until after the fact of how important Robert Scott was to this rotation. Now he's been he's played over 28 total games this in a Seminole career so far, and I think it's very important to understand that offensive line recruiting doesn't really dictate everything off of stars. You want to find guys that are going to work and actually have a lower bust rate in terms of that. And I think Alex Atkins has done a tremendous job in being able to develop at that position, and he's done a really nice job in kind of really identifying needs. I understand there were a couple of offensive line targets that may have not went our way, but I do think he's going to be able to shape up and get both of these guys, hopefully, to commit to the Seminoles and sign on the dotted line whenever it comes around to December or February in that matter. But I thank each and every one of you for watching the video today. Let's try to get the video up to 50 likes if we can. I really appreciate all the love and support that you've shown so far on my YouTube account. I'm trying to get out as much daily content as I can. life is kind of stressful sometimes. So I try to do it every single day, but if not, I will try to do it every other day if I can. But I really appreciate all the love and support as always, and go Knowles.